Okay, so ideally we would not be starting this book online or like on an AMI day. But I didn't want to have to waste these 2 days with you, and so we are starting it online. This is the book Speak. Hopefully you all have your copy of it. I wanted to go over with you like what we would be doing if we were at school together. First, I'm going to give you some backstory on the book. It is about a girl who has been sexually assaulted, and it starts with her entering high school. And so, if you look at the book, you'll notice that it is like the different sections of it are kind of funny. It's almost like she's writing it into a journal. But like the very first part of it starts with like first marking period. So which would be kind of similar to like if we had quarters, like first quarter, second quarter, that kind of thing. And so you'll notice that's like she gives like a report card for herself at the end of each quarter. But the girl's name is, I should know her name, and I forgot it. Melinda. There we go. Melinda. And she starts high school. She's already kind of an outcast. No one really likes her, and we don't really know why at this point, but you'll end up figuring out why as you continue. And so what I would have you do if we were in school is I would have you think about what would be the advice that you would give to current 8th graders about how to survive in high school. So what like 5 things would you tell them would be like the biggest things that could help them succeed in high school, things that maybe you wish you had known when you were in the 8th grade about how to, be successful and survive in high school. And so I would have you do that. And, some of you might each have different pieces of advice for those 8th grade students. But when you are a senior, you were able to look back at your 4 years of high school and kind of wish you had known different things before you were getting into your high school career. So the book specifically talks about sexual abuse, anxiety, depression, and there are some points of this where you might think that it is a little bit maybe like elementary for you, not in the sense that it takes place in elementary school. Maybe it's just too easy for you. She is a freshman, and I understand that you are seniors, but regardless, the subject material needs to be taken seriously, knowing that this kind of abuse does happen even if it hasn't happened to you. And then we're going to talk about consent and relationships. And I want you to hear me say that I am not here to tell you to have sex or not have sex. That is not my job. What I do want to impress upon you is that you have the right to say yes or no in any kind of situation and how to respond as a bystander. So you have the right to give someone consent, or to not give them consent. And that is something that has not been, a huge conversation that we have talked about for a lot of years. And so it just needs to be something that you're aware of. And also that if you witness something happen where someone is sexually assaulted, then as a bystander, you have a responsibility to help that person. And all of this applies to males and females alike. So keep that in mind as well. I understand also that this material might be emotionally triggering. If you don't feel comfortable reading the book, you can send me an email, you can write me a note, you can, just meet with me privately to express your concerns, and we will arrange something different. I do not want to pressure anyone in anything they are not comfortable with. So if you know that this may be triggering to you, just let me know and we can figure out something else. I also just want you to be mature about the subject content and take the book seriously. Maybe you have never experienced anything like this, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And people have experienced things like this. And so I hope it serves as a way to educate you for future and current situations. Okay, so we talked about that. I want to look at this article that's posted here first. You can open this up and look at this. Okay, so this was published in January of 2020, so it's a couple years old. But it's just talking about kind of like sex education requirements, instruction on dating and sexual violence prevention and healthy relationships, and how this has gotten to legislators' minds of different states, and just how they're dealing with it. And then it talks about the role of K-12 schools, and how even when talking with young children, them knowing good touch from bad touch, and covering different topics like relationship and communication skills, and then countering the abstinence-only agenda. And like I said, I am not here to tell you to have sex or not have sex. I'm also not born in a barn, though, so I know that, like, abstinence does not always work. But like I said earlier, regardless of where you fall on this spectrum, we need to be having the conversation about consent and about how if you don't feel comfortable, and if you're not respecting someone else's boundaries and making them feel comfortable, then whatever's happening is not okay. Okay, and then we're going to also look at this second link here. Okay, this is, it's called Sexual Assault Among Adolescents, 6 Facts. This was published in 2018. It says, Christine Blasey Ford's account of allegedly being sexually assaulted by Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh when they were teenagers is provoking both informed and uninformed comment from politicians. Still more private conversations about this are happening in homes and offices around the country. So first it's asking, what does the research say? It says assaults among people under the age of 18 are common. 18% of girls and 3% of boys say by the age of 17 they've been victims of sexual assault or abuse at the hands of another adolescent. So this just gives you the chart of female versus male and what age and what percentage at that age have been assaulted. Says most assaults between adolescents do not involve sexual intercourse. Penetration only occurs 15% of cases. A failure to disclose or report the assault is common. And I think this is what we're going to see with Melinda and Speak, is that she just has a hard time coming to grasp with what has happened with her. Victims have a variety of reactions to the assault. For example, the level of fear at the time of the assault runs the gamut. 32% report being very afraid, but 26% said that they had not been afraid. Number 5, impacts of assault can be serious and long-lasting. Both sexual and non-sexual assaults in adolescents are associated with higher than normal risk of depression, anxiety, post-traumatic symptoms, and risk for being assaulted again. Number 6, some youth who commit sexual assaults are serial offenders, that most are not. Just giving you some statistics about that, talking about how education works, and again talking about how there needs to be a shift away from, just like the traditional, what we talked about, the traditional things of like completely abstaining, to how to be healthy with the choices that you make. And like I said, I am not here to pass judgment on anybody. You do what you want to do, but we need to be respectful of others and respectful of consent and respectful of people's boundaries. So that is kind of the backstory on Speak. If we were going to be in class, we would go over a lot more in detail. Obviously, we've done all of this, so don't worry about that. Tonight, your reading guide tells you that you need to read pages 1 through 26. So read those, and then tomorrow I will post a video and we will talk about what you have read. If you have any questions about the book, or you just have questions in general, send me an email and we will hopefully get to see you. Probably not tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you Tuesday. Okay, bye.